everybody. I'm David Alexander, Spiritual Director at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, and I am excited to be bringing you this conversation today about how to actualize a world that works for everyone, to put feet to the prayers of our affirmations and make it a reality. Now, some people might think spirituality and politics don't mix, but in case anybody out there is hearing it through that lens, I want to just challenge that for just a moment, because we believe that a world that works for everyone is our vision and our value and what drives us to be in community together. And one of the things we teach in New Thought communities is that consciousness is everything, which is very true, right? That consciousness affects our mindset, and our mindset affects how we experience and interact with the world around us. But it's not just us individually. There's a collective consciousness that sets the tone for how legislation is created. That legislation then sets the tone for the world that we experience. And we know many examples of how that has been played out over the years, what bathroom we can use, what drinking fountain we can use, where we can buy a house, so on and so forth. And while it's true that none of us are governed by, quote unquote, the laws of man, and we have a spiritual freedom that is above that, we still live in a 3D reality that talks about that experience. And it's our job as awakened spiritual beings to bring that heaven mindset into the earthly experience and to make a world that works for all through our conscious advocacy and efforts. And so I am so excited to be joined today by Reverend Linda and Gabrielle Claiborne from Transformation Journeys Worldwide to educate us on what's happening right now in the country around LGBT and trans issues through local and state legislation. Let me bring them on and hand it over to them. Welcome.
Thank you, Reverend David. And hi, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Claiborne, and my pronouns are she, her.
And I'm Linda Herzer, Reverend Linda, and my pronouns are also she, her. And we want to encourage you to get your phones out, because in just a moment, we are going to be sharing some QR codes with you that you can use to take action right now.
And as it relates to this legislation that David is speaking about, just this year in 2023, ACLU is tracking over almost 400 anti-LGBTQ plus bills across the country. And you can see here from this screen that the darker states are the states with the most anti-LGBTQ plus bills. And the lion's share of these bills are anti-trans bills. There are a number of trans bills that are sweeping our country, that are prohibiting and making it illegal for medical professionals and even parents to support their trans children and allowing them access to gender affirmative care. They're also making it illegal for trans girls to participate on their women's sports teams at their schools. So these are some of the legislation that is sweeping our country. And as a trans person, I can tell you that the danger in these bills are that it actually is basically telling these trans children that we don't see you, we don't acknowledge you for who you are. But the reality is, even though I am a boomer trans person, I knew at a very young age that I was trans. So giving these trans youth access to this affirming healthcare and affirming spaces for them to show up in this world as their authentic self goes a long way in setting them up for success.
So we want to talk with you a little bit about what you can do in response to this anti-LGBTQ legislation that's being introduced throughout our country. The good news is that almost every state has an LGBTQ advocacy organization that specifically deals with these bills and gathers together volunteers to speak against them, to sign petitions against them. And so this is how you can get involved, is by connecting with your state's anti-LGBTQ organization. And so what we'd like to ask you to do is to scan this QR code. The Equality Federation is sort of like the parent organization for all these various state organizations. So wherever you are in the country, you can scan this QR code, and that will take you to an alphabetical list of all the states. And don't worry, you're not going to lose this code. It's the same one right there. Okay. So here's a screenshot of that alphabetical list. We're in the F's and the G's. Obviously, if you're in the C's, you got to scroll up. If you're in California, if you're out there in Oregon, okay, or on the West Coast, might have to scroll down a little bit, but find your state and click on that organization. Now, because we know that many of you listening in might be here in Georgia, we want to show you what you're going to see when you go to the Georgia Equality website. By the way, that QR code that's on the screen now is for Georgia Equality. So the first thing you got to do is, click the QR code. Once you get to Georgia Equality site, you're going to see a menu. Click on that, and that will open up several options. The ones you see here: home, about, issues, take action. Click on take action. That's your third step. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is scroll down that page, and you're going to see that blue stay informed box with the arrow there. That's your fourth step. Click on that, and that will take you to a page that looks like this, where you can sign up to receive action alerts, breaking news, and updates. So again, this is the QR code for Georgia Equality. Do make sure that you put your residence address in there, because that way, when you get an action alert from Georgia Equality, all you have to do is make a few clicks. It will take you less than 2 minutes, I can assure you, because I've done this before. You just put your name and address in there. In fact, they even have a way that you can save all that information in there for next time, okay? Put that information in there, and then it will automatically take you to your senator or your House member. And that way you can get your message out to them. The message will be already written for you. You don't even have to write anything. Basically, a few clicks, sign your name, and it's off, and you have made your voice known. You have helped to raise and change consciousness around the LGBTQ community. So we want to encourage all of you to get connected with your state's organization, because these are the people who are helping to raise the consciousness and can give you specific actions to take.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Thank you, Linda. I want to just emphasize how important this is. If we believe in a world that works for everyone, it is critical and vital that we actually look for ways in which that is demonstrating itself in the world. And when and where it's not, then it is upon us as active spiritual beings to do something about it. So what I want to say is, no matter where you live, your local, state, House representatives and senators need to hear from you if you are somebody who believes in a world that works for everyone, and you would want to see equality and justice being distributed through the legislation that is happening right now where you live. So take those action steps, watch this video again, scan those QR codes, and get involved in the way that works best for you.